Hi everyone, welcome back to Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. My name is Stacy. I was just at Dollar Tree today and I found these cute little house wall art pieces, and I've decided to change them up to be a little bit more farmhouse because this really doesn't work. So what I'm doing is I'm going to pop the back off, okay, and then I'm just kind of cleaning up the back edge. And the way I'm doing that, I was trying to pry it off, but it wasn't really working. So what I did is I just took the back of my pliers, and you could do this with a hammer as well, and I just hit it really hard, and that bounced the back right off of it. There we go. Just have to hit it hard. It peels the paper off a little bit, but I'm going to save these wooden pieces because I can use them for another project. So I'm just going to peel the paper off, and I'm going to take my putty knife or a razor blade and just clean it up. You could even use sandpaper for this. I just don't want any of the paper showing. All right, once I've gotten the backs off of these houses and I've kind of sanded down the edges a little bit, I got some small hold hardware cloth at Home Depot, and I'm just cutting a shape out of the hardware cloth to match the back of the house so that I can hot glue it on and it will look something like that when we're done. So I've already cut two of them, and now I'm working on the third, and I had this scrap and I just cut the little edges off, and I'm just kind of eyeballing where I need to cut it next. And then I will take my Sharpie marker. Make sure you're working on the back of your project so that you don't get black lines on the front of your project. Don't worry about these lines showing because they will get trimmed off. So once I get those cut, I'll come back and show you how I'm attaching it. All right, I have the wire cut to the shape of the house, and I'm just going to double check that it is going to fit on there and that the wires are going to land somewhat in the center of the edge of the wood. And then I'm going to take my glue gun that I have heating up here, and I'm going to put a line of glue. And you have to be a little more liberal than you think. Put a line of glue over there. I'm going to start with the bottom, and then I'm going to line it up, and I'm going to push it down with a popsicle stick just to get it covered in that glue. I'm just trying to attach it for one, and also to keep the little sharp prongs from poking anybody. So I'm going to go all the way around and glue down the edges. Some burlap ribbon, and I'm just going to glue that down to cover up the edge and make it look a little nicer. The bottom is important. Don't overhang your edge on that because that's where your house is going to stand. So don't let your ribbon hang over the edge. And don't let glue puddle down there. You got to get that off while it's fresh. Make sure my house will still stand, which it will. And then I'm going to finish the last piece. And it's ready to decorate the inside. So I'm going to go ahead off camera and finish these two houses, getting the wire glued on, and then I'll come back and show you how I'm decorating them. I'm getting ready to decorate this, and what I did is I cut a piece of satin ribbon the width of this house, and I just tucked it on the back. I just tucked it underneath the ribbon that I glued on to cover up the wire. And then I'm going to flip this over, and I'm going to make sure that that ribbon is straight. I'm going to put a piece of lace up here, and that's what this ribbon is for. It is there to give me something to glue the lace to. So I'm thinking a little bit of lace and a little, maybe a jute bow. Okay. So I'm just kind of eyeballing where I need to cut this. And the ribbon that I put on is the same width as this lace. That's why I chose it. Okay, so I'm looking to see if that's how I want it to be, with a little bow right there. I think it'll be really cute. Now these flowers I took off of a Easter decoration that I got on clearance at Tuesday morning because I couldn't find, I wanted to use succulents, but I couldn't find the succulents that I wanted. So I'm going to start with this lace, and I'm going to put some glue through the wire onto that ribbon. I have to be careful because there's holes in this lace and I don't want to burn my fingers. And I can use my popsicle stick if I want to push it down, or I can just push it with my fingers. You decide what works for you. I just kind of want to tuck as much of that loose stuff in as I can. And I want to make sure that there's glue to the edges. Okay, that should have glued this down as well. I'm just going to run my popsicle stick over the ribbon, run my fingers over it, and I'm going to check to make sure that that ribbon is still down, and it is. Okay, so there's that. I also kind of like the look of a little more elegant with just one of those ribbon roses. This is my last ribbon rose, so I'm not quite sure what I want to do yet. Okay, so I'm thinking, not sure. Okay, so I've decided to make a burlap rose to decorate my house with, and I have a die that cuts them, but it's not cutting through the burlap. So what I decided to do was just trace out. It kind of cut and left a mark, so I went ahead and drew over the top of that, and I'm cutting it out using a piece of burlap that I had dipped into Mod Podge for one of the burlap banner projects. I had a couple of pieces left over, so I'm using that to make a burlap rose for my house. I'm making 3 of them because I have 3 little houses I need to do. And so you could freehand, if you don't have a die to trace, you could freehand a rose. It's just got 3 layers. The first one's the biggest. First layer is the biggest, then the second layer is a little smaller, and then so on. And then I just have a flat back white pearl that I don't know, I salvaged off of another craft project some time ago when I was getting ready to throw something away, but I kept the pearls off of it. But you can get these pearls at, these pearls right here, at Hobby Lobby or Michael's or any of your craft stores. You can get smaller ones at the Dollar Tree, and you could glue 3 or 4 onto it to in place of the one big one. So that would totally work too. Just got my bin of embellishments sitting over here on this side, just trying to figure out what would work, because the flowers I bought, I wanted succulents, but the succulents are so expensive. So then I got to thinking, well, if I'm doing shabby chic and farmhouse, burlap would work. And I'm not cutting these flowers perfectly, but what I like about them is because they've been dipped in Mod Podge, they are bendable and I can kind of sculpt them a little bit. I really like that. So because they've been dipped in Mod Podge, I can kind of bend them and sculpt them and give them some dimension. So that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm just going to offset the leaves in between the cracks so that the petals fill in. And I'm just going to use a little dot of hot glue. Don't need a lot. And push that in. Now the glue is going to come up through this because it's burlap, so use your popsicle stick. You might want to have a piece of paper underneath of it. Now this one I accidentally cut off one of the petals, but I'm going to use it and make it work anyway. I'm bending it up. Dot of glue in the middle. Stick it on. And then my pearl in the middle. So here's the house that I've already put the lace on with the ribbon on the back, and I'm thinking that might just be plenty. Yeah, kind of like that actually. I'm going to put glue on the back of my flower, and I'm going to glue it right into the center of my lace. I'm going to take that same string I just cut, and I'm going to wrap it around 3 fingers, and I'm going to squeeze it together. I'm going to tie another piece of jute around the middle of my loops and make a bow. When you do this, make sure you get it right in the center or your bow will be lopsided. I'm contemplating whether or not that should go up there. And I think I like that, so that's what I'm going to do. A little dot of glue up on the top of the house. And just going to glue that bow right on there and show you what they turned out like. I think this would be a really cute little set. You could put little things down here in the bottom if you wanted. You could do different order because the laces are all in different places. I just thought they are so cute. These will be going into my craft sale this weekend. I am not sure what I'm going to price them yet. I'm thinking somewhere between $3 and $5. This has been Crafting at Whimsy Wonderland. Thanks for stopping by. I'll see you next time.